Hi and welcome! Audio feedback whenever your player interacts with certain elements of your UI is a great and remarkably easy way to add polish to your game. In this tutorial I will show you how to create a simple and extensible system to tag elements with certain sounds and on which interaction to emit them, which will get handled by a central manager. I created a rudimentary menu UI for this with a button, a drop-down, a toggle group, 2 images, the background and a pile of gold, and a slider. In the first file, create an enum for the kinds of sounds you want to offer. I'll be using an unspecified entry, a coin sound, a click sound, and a parchment sound, but this list can grow or look however you need it. An argument can be made about not using an enum like this, and instead a scriptable object for each entry, but working with an enum felt more intuitive for this use case, and is much less of a workload to set up and manage in your project folder. In general, I would decide based on the amounts of sounds you need if an enum is enough, or if you need the flexibility of a scriptable object architecture. Another enum will give us the option if the sound should be played on click or on release. The UI sound trigger is a class we will attach to everything that is supposed to make a sound in our UI. To do so, we need to check if the element it is attached to has been clicked, either if the click is happening or if the click is released. For this, we use the iPointerUp handler and iPointerDown handler interfaces. We initialize sound type to unspecified and the interaction to onPointerDown. PointerDown is most likely the use case you will utilize the most often, so it makes sense to default to that. Reset is a method that gets called once when you attach a script to a game object, or when you click the components menu and choose Reset. In it, we will have the code look for the UI interaction sound manager, which we will create in just a moment. In Start, we check if our sound manager has actually been set. In the vast majority of cases, that should be the case. But if it is missing, we can click on the message and highlight the source of our problem in the hierarchy. Next are the 2 methods our interfaces ask for, onPointerDown and onPointerUp. In each, the interaction type gets checked and if our sound manager is set correctly. We tell the sound manager to play the sound type and hand over the sending object by writing this, so we can track the source of the sound. That being done, create the UI interaction sounds manager. It is going to be a simple monobehavior. We start by creating a serializable class called soundFeedback, which will link the type of the sound we want to play to a specific sound clip. Create a list of feedbacks to fill in the inspector. Obviously, we also need a reference to an audio source, so we can actually play the clip. Because running through a list from the start and looking for matches whenever the user clicks can be a bit bothersome, we turn the contents of our list into a dictionary. This makes looking up requested clips faster. To make setup easier for us, we will handle the initial setup in Reset. It gets the audio source with a simple getComponent call and creates the initial list for our feedback. In this for each loop, it goes over every entry in our enum and creates a new entry in the feedbacks list with the corresponding value. In Start, we just create the dictionary of our entries. This is what the playSounds method looks like. It needs an enum of the type of sound it should play and takes a reference to the object that calls for the sound. In case you forgot to specify which sound to play, this will make finding the offender very simple. In the first step, we try to get the value of our sound clip that fits to the sound type. If our script can't find one, we get notified. Next, we check if the sound clip is null. Again, we will get notified if it is. If this check sends its debug message, we forgot to set up the correct sound to play. I typically give unspecified sounds a glaringly obvious sound clip, but since I test a lot without having audio enabled, this message helps me in finding the sources I need to fix. And lastly, if our audio source is not null, we play the sound as a one-shot. And if you enjoyed this tutorial so far, please give it a like to let others know and consider subscribing. Attach this script to a new game object you call something like UI Interaction Sounds Manager and fill the list as you need. All that's left is tagging the elements we want to emit sounds with our sound trigger. Attach the script to every UI element you want to emit a sound. For me, it's the parchment background, every interactable UI element, as well as the small mountain of gold coins down here. Everything but the slider feels like a good use case for emitting sounds when the mouse button gets clicked, but for the slider, it feels better to hear the sound when the button gets released instead. At least to me. Hit play and give it a test. Enjoyed this? Changing cursors based on what you hover over is similarly simple. I made a tutorial about it here. If you enjoyed my tutorial, please give it a like and consider subscribing. And did you know I released the first round of my written guides on different UI elements? You can find them on my itch page. They come with multiple use cases, lots of scripts, images, explanations, and project files. Have a great week!